Since I'm off-grid on our small Caribbean island, why do I harvest rainwater for water instead of a desalination plant? I mean, I've got all that water just right there. Why do I rely on the sky? After all, I go 8 months without any rain. The reason is because desalination plants are incredibly expensive. Let me show you. This is a desalination plant for a house. And what it does is it pulls in water from the ocean, and sometimes it pulls in fish too and kills the fish. After that, it goes into a pump. That pump requires electricity to pump the water out of the ocean and down into a pre-treatment system, which also requires electricity. From there, the water goes down to a high pressure pump. The reason you need a high pressure pump, which takes a lot of electricity, is because it's got to get through the reverse osmosis system. Once it enters the reverse osmosis, there's a series of membranes that the water gets pushed through, and each time it gets pushed through it, it starts to take the salt out of the water. But the water doesn't like to go through membranes that small, and so it takes a lot of pressure to put it through. And these systems require tons of maintenance. You have to change those reverse osmosis membranes all the time. You have to descale it. You have to do an acid on it, and they will pickle if you don't use them, meaning you have to flush your system. So they need to be used almost every single day. And then once you get it through the reverse osmosis, you're left with two types of water. One is clean water. That goes into storage. But the rest is an incredibly salty brine. That gets pushed and mixed with excess water from pre-treatment and pumped back into the ocean. And it ends up back in there. Incredibly salty brine going into our ocean, which is bad because that is a fish nursery right there. Lots of little fish that then grow up into big fish and go along our reef. You dump salty brine into that and you're killing fish. And coral and sea fans and seagrass and all of the other stuff that lives out there. And then from the storage, it needs to be pumped in the house. So I need another pump, and I also need a UV light to treat it. So reverse osmosis is expensive. It requires 3 different pumps. It requires huge reverse osmosis and pre-treatment systems. And all that electricity is a problem because I rely on the sun for my electricity because I'm off-grid and it's solar. I just don't have that much electricity to run all of that. Huge electrical costs. Or, and hear me out here, rainwater can fall out of my roof for free, run down this pipe, and it goes down into my cistern. 34,000 gallons of water can be stored in my 3 cisterns. For free. It doesn't cost me a penny. By using free rainwater, I can not kill this fish, I can eliminate this pump, I can eliminate the pre-treatment, I can eliminate this high pressure pump, and this reverse osmosis goes from this huge thing to a very tiny little one that treats the rainwater. So most of this disappears as well. And all that salty brine that's gonna go up there and kill that fish, it disappears.